Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, Text 42. Shri Sukha Uvacha Iti Tad Vachanam Shrutva Vasudevaha Mahamanaha Tan Rishin Ritvijaha Vavre Murdna Anamya Prasadya Cha Shri Sukha Uvacha Iti Tadvachanam Shrutva Iti Tadvachanam Shrutva Vasudevo Mahamanaha Vasudevo Mahamanaha Tan Rishin Ritvajo Vavre Tan Rishin Ritvijo Vavre Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha Iti Tadvachanam Shrutva Vasudevo Mahamanaha Tan Rishin Ritvijo Vavre Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha Iti Tadvachanam Shrutva Vasudevo Mahamanaha Tan Rishin Ritvijo Vavre Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha Iti Tadvachanam Shrutva Vasudevo Mahamanaha Tan Rishin Ritvijo Vavre Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha Tan Rishin Ritvijo Vavre Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha Mataji. Itadvachanam Shrutva Vasudevo Mahamanaha Tan Rishin Ritvijo Vavre Murdna Namya Prasadya Cha. Word-to-word meaning. Shri Sukha Uvacha Sukadeva Goswami said, Iti thus spoken, Tat there, Vachanam words, Shrutva having heard, Vasudevaha Vasudev, Mahamanaha generous, Tan them, Rishin the sages, Ritvijaha as priests, Vavre chose, Murdna, with his head. Anamya, bowing down. Prasadya, gratifying them. Cha, also. Translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, after hearing these statements of the sages, generous Vasudeva bowed his head to the ground and praising them, requested them to become his priests. Please repeat responsively. Sukadeva Goswami said, after hearing these statements of the sages, generous Vasudeva bowed his head to the ground and praising them, requested them to become his priests. We will be reading few more verses, no purport. 43. Tayenam rishayo rajan I will only recite the verse, you don't have to repeat. Tayenam rishayo rajan vrita dharmena dharmikam tasmin ayajayan kshetre mukair uttama kalpakai. Thus requested by him, O king, the sages engaged the pious Vasudeva in performing fire sacrifices at that holy place of Kurukshetra according to strict religious principles and with most excellent ritual arrangements. Tad-dikshayam pravrittayam vrishnaye pushkarasrajah snataha suvasaso rajan rajanah shustvalankritaha tanmahishyascha mudita nishkakantya suvasah dikshasalam upajagmu alipta vastu punayah. When Maharaj Vasudeva was about to be initiated for his sacrifice, O king, the Vrishnis came to the initiation pavilion. After bathing and putting on fine clothes and garlands of lotuses, the other kings also came elaborately ornamented, as well as all their joyful queens, who wore jeweled lockets around their necks and were also clad in fine garments. The royal wives were anointed with sandalwood paste and carried auspicious items for the worship. Nedur mridanga pataha sankabheriya anakadaya nanturtanatarnartakyas tustuvu sutamagadaha Juhu sukantya gandharvyah sangeetam saha bhartrikaha. Mridangas, patahas, conch shells, berries, anakas, and other instruments resounded. Male and female dancers danced, and the sutas and magadas recited glorification. Sweet-voiced Gandharvis sang, accompanied by their husbands. Tam abhyasinchan viddiva taktam abhyaktam vritvijaha patnibhi ashtadasabi somarajam ivodubihi. After Vasudeva's eyes had been decorated with black cosmetic and his body smeared with fresh butter, the priests initiated him according to scriptural rules by sprinkling him and his 18 wives with sacred water. Encircled by his wives, he resembled the regal moon encircled by stars. Purport. Devaki was Vasudeva's principal wife, but she had several co-wives, including her 6 sisters. This fact is recorded in 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Devakaschograsenascha chatvaro devakatmajaha devavan upadevascha sudevo devavardha tesam svasara saptasam Dritadevodayo nrupa shanti devopadevacha Srideva devakarakshitaha Sahadeva devakicha vasudeva uvahata. Ahuka had two sons named Devaka and Ugrasena. Devaka had four sons named Devavan, Upadeva, Sudeva and Devavardhana. And he also had 7 daughters named Shantideva, Upadeva, Srideva, Devarakshita, Sahadeva, Devaki and Dritadeva. Dritadeva was the eldest. Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, married all these sisters. Bhagavatam 9.24, 21 to 23. Some of Vasudeva's other wives are mentioned in a few verses later. Pauravi Rohini Bhadra Madira Rochana Ila Devaki Pramukas Chasan Patnya Anaka Dhundubihe. Devaki, Pauravi, Rohini, Bhadra, Madira, Rochana, Hila and others were all wives of Anaka Dhundubi, Vasudeva. Among them all, Devaki was the chief. Bhagavatam 9.24.45. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Sakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Dangayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are reading how Lord Krishna, along with his family, went to Kurukshetra to observe the solar eclipse there, where the sages also came. And the sages, after glorifying Lord Krishna, were ready to depart. And at that point, Vasudeva inquired from the sages, what are the activities that a person can perform which actually does not bind him from the reactions of the activity, fruitive activities. Basically meaning that how not to be entangled in this material actions and reactions. So, as this inquiry was made, Lord Krishna and Balaram also was there, and they are also listening. So, the sages mentioned that the Vedic sacrifices are the means. Vedic sacrifice, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is the means of not getting entangled. Specifically, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is actually the duty of the twice born, Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaisya, twice born, Dvijas. And it is stated that they have three kinds of debts. Debts to the demigods, debts to the sages, and debts to the forefathers. To the forefathers, one pays the debts by means of begetting children, so that the lineage is carried forward. And you also get no Shrad, Pinda being offered. So that is why many of the times the person is looking for a male child, so that carry forward the lineage and offer Shrad and etc. To the sages, the debt is paid back by means of reading the scriptures. Because they have, studied the scripture and they have worked hard to propagate the knowledge of the scripture. So, it should be studied. Prabhupada wrote the books. It is for reading and studying, not just for keeping it in the library. One's own library, studying. So if you study, then your debt is fulfilled of the hard effort that is put by the person who has written. Sages. And for the demigod, it is by performing the sacrifice. So the sages mentioned to Vasudeva that you have already fulfilled two. You are well learned. The debt is over to the sages. And you already begot children. In fact, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is your child. And also to your forefather debt is over. But then you perform sacrifice, that is pending. You perform the sacrifice. So, performing the sacrifice is a means of paying the debt to the demigods, because the demigods are the managerial authorities of this universe, supplying all the necessities of life. So, there remains a debt in the form of sacrifice to be performed. So, this comes within the Varnashrama system. Within the Varnashrama system, one is duty bound to perform the sacrifice to pay back the debt to the demigods. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki, SriSriSitaram Lakshmanaman ki, Sri Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So in this connection, we will discuss little bit about within Varnashrama system how a person is given a chance to perform his duty as well as achieve the purpose in life, goal of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on his South India tour visited several places and he came to Udupi, the seat of Madhvacharya, in whose line we are coming, Madhvacharya. So, Lord Chaitanya visited the temple, and when he came there, he took sannyas from Keshav Bharati. So, people generally considered, he has taken sannyas from a Mayavadi like that. So, they all thought a Mayavadi sannyasi has come. They didn't really bother to, receive him or anything like that. But when Lord Chaitanya saw the deity of Lord Krishna there, and when he was dancing in ecstasy and exhibiting the symptoms, ecstatic symptoms of devotional service, they said, hey, he's not an ordinary person. So, so they all came to him and invited him, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to discuss with them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them, the Tattvavadi, they are called Tattvavadis. They are very much firm in establishing the Tattva. Madhvas are known as Tattvavadis. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them, what is the ultimate goal in life? No, I want to listen to you. Please tell me, what is the goal in life? What is the purpose in life? How can we achieve it? So, the first thing is that the Acharya, the disciple in the succession of Madhvacharya, they said actually you will have to perform your duty within Varnashrama. Simply by performing your duty, Swadharma, within the Varnashrama and satisfy the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna, then you will achieve the goal of getting liberated, not being entangled. The question is how not to be entangled in the material world by our action. We are doing every day different kinds of activities, and each activity is resulting in some kind of reaction. And most of the time it binds a person. Bondage is there. And then you do, because of that bondage you do some other activity, again it results in some other karma. It goes on. This entanglement is something like, so complicated, very difficult to come out of the, like, trying to unknot a big bunch of wool, gets knotted, it's very difficult to remove it. So, so the Acharya in the Madhva Sampradaya, he said that we have to perform your duty in your particular ashrama, and by means of which you can get the liberation, 5 kinds of liberation, and one, including going to Vaikuntha. So that is the purpose. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that how is that liberation your goal is liberation, out of which even if you try to go to Vaikuntha, Salokya, Samipya, Shasti, different kinds of liberation. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, unless you have the love of God, Krishna, by means of Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, starting from hearing and chanting the holy names, by means of which, unless you establish kind of love for God, how is that the liberation is going to actually serve the purpose? Because for somebody who is in the love of Godhead, liberation, just not being entangled, doesn't even a kind of substantial matter for him. Because liberation also includes merging into Brahman, which is considered to be like a Naraka actually for devotees. But for Mayavadis, not for Madhvais, for Mayavadis it is like ultimate goal actually, merging. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by quoting the verses from the scripture, he established that the Varnashrama Dharma can only lead up to the stage of moksha. And moksha is a very insignificant thing. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Purusharthas. But for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this moksha, beyond moksha, is prema, the love of God, which is known as Panchama Purushartha. But this within Varnashrama system cannot lead it to prema actually. It can only go up to the moksha stage. So he said that the real purpose is to actually get the love of Godhead. So what is that you are, giving? The solution is following within Varnashrama system. So, in this way, in the point of discussion, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established that how pure devotees of the Lord not at all worried about how to be liberated, because their very activities in the platform of liberation only. Beyond liberation, not even on the platform, beyond liberation. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that you are following this, but you have to go above that. And they said that yes, what you are telling is right. What you are telling, we are not denying that. But Madhvacharya taught us, and we are following it, that's all. Party, loyalty. Our Acharya taught, can you imagine? They know that certain thing is beyond, till they know. Madhvacharya taught, this is the loyalty to the Acharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are coming in the Sampradaya, by the way. So, the fruitive workers, following just the Karma Kanda section, and speculative philosophers, speculators, they are considered non-devotees. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, both of these elements are present in your teaching. Encouraging to do the activities within Varnashrama is fruitive. And little bit speculation. Because to establish Tattvavad, Dvaita, which is exactly opposite of Advaita. So, Madhvacharya has to do some word jugglery with Vedanta Sutra. So, this is something meant for scholars. One simple example is that Vedic Shruti says, Sa Atma Tattvamasi. Sa Atma Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi is like a Mahavakya for Mayavadis. You are that, thou art that, you are that. And Madhvacharya in his Vedanta Sutra commentary, he says, Sa Atma Atattvamasi. Atma and Tat. When the junction is there, it can be split this way or that way. So he put one extra A this side, Atat. It is supposed to be Tattvamasi. He said Atat. He says you are not that. Mayavadi say you are that Brahman. He says you are not that Brahman. Which many times scholars in Sanskrit does not agree with. So these elements are there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but only thing very good you have is, you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you accept His form. Form as absolute truth. It's absolute. That is very good. That is good. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established in discussion with Tattvavadis that within Varnashrama system, you cannot achieve the actual ultimate goal of life. Actual. You can achieve something and say that this is ultimate, that's a different thing. And that love of Godhead is beyond the scope within Varnashrama system. The same thing was also discussed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again in the same South Indian Yatra, well before discussing with Tattvavadis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Ramananda Rai on the banks of Godavari. So he also discussed the same thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai, please narrate some verses from the scripture. What is the ultimate goal in life? Say, what is that we are supposed to achieve? And Ramananda Rai also started with satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following your duties in Varnashrama Dharma. It's the beginning point of transcendence. If one is not even following the Varnashrama system, he is unfit to be doing anything transcendental actually. Beginning point. But some people think that is the end point. That's a different way of looking at it. So, Ramananda Rai said, Varnashrama charavata purushena paramam puman. Follow the duty. Swadharma within Varnashrama, and you worship the Supreme Personality of God, and Lord will be pleased. And that is what the goal of life. He said, this is external. This is rejected. This is external. Go further. So here we can see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is systematically step by step bringing what is the ultimate goal, the topmost thing that one can achieve. He said, this is external, you just go further. And then Ramananda said, yes, there is something more. Yat karosi, yat jugosi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva matarpanam. Do anything and everything that you want to do for Krishna. Anything you do, do it for Krishna. It is more than just doing it because there is some fruitive aspect following the Swadharma. Here, you don't expect anything. Do everything for Krishna. Whatever you do. He said, this is also external. Then Ramananda Rai goes further, says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. Sarva dharma, first is do your dharma, swadharma. So, Sarva dharman parityajya is better than doing dharma within Varnashrama. Mamekam saranam vraja, not just living, after that you'll have to, surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He said, can you go further? Sarvadharman parityajya. In Sri Sampradaya, this is a main thing. Unless you do surrender, there is nothing you can do. Surrender is the basic element. Surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Ramananda Rai goes to say, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Being situated in the Brahma Bhuta platform is higher. He said, yes. So now, so many steps, we will be coming back. What is started in Varnashrama Dharma, it is gone up to the level of coming to the Brahma Bhuta platform, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. One who is situated in Brahma Bhuta is Prasannatma. He is not worried about anything. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, can you go further? Pure devotional service without speculative, no speculation. Pure devotional service. Pure devotional service. That is higher. Yes. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, can you go further? Spontaneous love of Godhead. Spontaneous love. You don't apply logic. There is no logic. Sometimes in spontaneous activity there won't be logic. A pure devotee of the Lord, you try to bring him onto the platform of logic, it doesn't work. Beyond that. So in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged him to go further. Then Ramananda Rai discusses about serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Shantaras, in Dasyaras, in Sakyaras, Vatsalaras, Madhuras. Every one step. Each one is higher than the other, lower one. So, in this way, Ramananda Rai kept going higher and higher and higher, and when he came to the gopis of Vrindavan, serving Krishna in the Madhurya Bhav, he explained, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Can you go further?" He said, "Wait a minute, nobody has ever asked me any further than this." Then he goes on to describe about the qualities of Krishna and Radharani. And then he says, "I want to say something." He said, "Can you go further? I want to say something. Prema Vilas Vivarta, in mood of separation. I don't know whether you like it or not." He said, "No, that's okay. You stop it now." In separation. So, in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through the mouth of Ramananda Rai himself says that actually I don't know what you are asking me, but I am just repeating, and you are only making me to say all these things. I don't even know, really, can observe, but you are making me to speak, I am speaking. So through my mouth you want to hear. So here we can see how, starting with Varnashrama, Yat karo shaddashnasi, sarvadharman parityaja, brahmabhuta prasannatma, pure devotional service, santaras, dasharas, sakyaras, vatsalyaras, madhuraras and separation. Now, one interesting thing here is that the sages, they said that to pay the debts to the demigods, you please do sacrifice. And Vasudeva was ready to do sacrifice anyway, in the presence of Lord Krishna and Balaram. Both of them were present. So this is part of, within the domain of Varnashrama system, paying the debt to the demigod. Interestingly, in Braj, when Lord Krishna was performing his childhood pastimes, Nanda Maharaj was arranging a yajna. And Lord Krishna, young boy, was curious to know what is happening. Everybody is busy trying to arrange ingredients for yajna. And Krishna is inquiring from Nanda Maharaj, "What are you trying to do?" And Nanda Maharaj says that we are Vaishyas and we depend on rain, and agriculture happens by rain, so we have got sufficient rain. So Indra is the demigod in charge of rain, so he has given sufficient rain. So we should pay our debt. We have got a debt. So by means of doing this Indra Yajna, we are repaying the debt to Lord Indra. So that's what we are doing. That is exactly what the sages told Vasudeva, right? Whereas Krishna had a different view on that. So Krishna said, "What is this you are talking about? By means of the clouds the rain is coming, but our own karma is what is making it." Karma Mimamsa philosophy. That's a philosophy called, one school of Indian philosophy is called Karma Mimamsa. By your karma is the result of things. There is nothing more than that. So in fact he was preaching Karma Mimamsa to substantiate the idea that you don't do this yajna to Indra. I said, "What is this? You want, what do you want?" No, the Govardhan is giving everything. The rain is, water is coming from Govardhan, grass is there, fruits are there, this one, that one, everything is there. Govardhan should be worshipped. So we will do Govardhan Puja. You want, sometimes small children, you want to convince them, you say that, okay, you want to do that. No, okay, it will be done, this also you'll do. No, 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 no. Not in addition, it is in place. So, the Nanda Maharaj, we cannot say no to Krishna. This is spontaneous. He did not reject the idea. Hey, chota bacha. Ha, that's it. Because he is on the Vatsalya Bhav. He cannot say no to Krishna. He accepted it. So, even though Karma Mimamsa is not the final philosophy, Vedanta Sutra is Uttara Mimamsa. The Vedanta Sutra establishes the higher philosophy actually. So, in this way, we are very interesting to see how Lord Krishna, who actually stopped yajna for Indra, demigod, same Krishna was present in Kurukshetra when the sages said he should perform yajna. Now he is grown up. He did not say anything. He allowed the yajna to be happening. This we are going to read. We are going to read. So, it all depends upon who the performer is. What is the level of the performer? What level he is situated in Krishna consciousness? So, Nanda Maharaj was already in the spontaneous loving devotion to Krishna in Vatsalya Bhav, which is actually 9 steps ahead of this Varnashram Dharma. In that we have put 11 steps. At least so-called step. It's not really in the truest sense, at least levels. Varnashrama is the beginning level and Vatsalya is just 1 step before Madhurya. Krishna being born, and Krishna, who is there are so many songs saying that how fortunate you are to have Krishna coming and tell no mother, father like that. And how much loving devotion that Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda are having. And that is, something extraordinary. It was nothing to, this is nothing, anyway close to a Varnashrama system. So, whereas, because the Brajabasis are already spontaneously engaged in service of Krishna, which is higher, for them worshipping demigod is not necessary. So, Krishna said, not necessary. Chalo, isko mat karo. Whereas here, in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam that we are reading, Vasudeva is acting on the platform of a Kshatriya and he is trying to set an example for others. So he is asking, what is that I am supposed to do, which does not entangle me? And they said, no, you have to do yajna. So if you are not on the spontaneous loving devotion service, you have to do this actually. What is prescribed within Varnashrama system. Rejecting Varnashrama doesn't mean that you can do adharmic activity. That is not allowed. But if one is on the Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmor Yador Bhakti Radokshade, if you are going to do a Paradharma, then lower Dharma can be rejected. To do Adharma, you cannot reject Dharma. That is not allowed. So in this way, it is very interesting to note, depending upon the performer's level of advancement in Krishna consciousness, the duties vary. One duty for one person is not going to be the same for another person. And one cannot imitate. Oh, aisa karenge. You have to situate on that platform to actually follow the footsteps. Imitation doesn't work. No, I am going to imitate like Nanda Maharaj. Doesn't work like that. You have to be situated on that platform. Then one can act like that. Just by acting, you don't go to that platform. So in this way, here we are reading how Vasudeva, who actually acted as the father for 3 times. Very first time, Vasudeva was born as Sutapa, Prajapati. To Sutapa and Prishni, they did 12,000 years of tapasya. Sutapa, very refined tapasya. He is the best in doing the tapasya, Sutapa. 12,000 years. And the Lord came and said that, okay, I will become your child. Prishni Garbha, Vishnu. He said, not only now, I will become your child 3 times. Then to Kashyapa and Aditi, he is born as Vamanade, Upendra, Vamanade. Then as Vasudeva and Devaki was born as Krishna. So in this way, Vasudeva was told by the sages assembled to perform the yajna so that he can pay the debts to the demigods. In fact, it is mentioned that everybody has got debts, not only the Dvajas, even ordinary living entities. So, if one has to pay the debts, there are so many people we have to pay. Deva Rishi Bhutapta Nurnam Pitrunam Nakenkaroyam Nayam Vrinicharajan Sarvatmanaya Saranam Saranyam Gato Mukunda Parihritya Kartam. It includes also Devas, Rishis, Bhuta and Aptas, not living entities, family members. All these debts, one is supposed to pay. Not only Dvajas, even Shudras have got certain duties also. Unless if one says that I am completely surrendered to Krishna, I am doing service to Krishna, then only he is exempted. If he is not rendering devotional service 100% to Krishna, his duties are there. Sometimes devotees, when somebody becomes a devotee, people will always ask, hey, what about your duty towards that? What about your duty towards that? Obviously duty is there. We cannot deny. Only when one says that, no, I am surrendering to Krishna, then he is exempted, which people may not understand. But a devotee who is surrendering can be convinced that he is not failing in his duty. Anything else. That he can be convinced. So in this way, here we see how Vasudeva, after being told by the sages that he should do yajna, he said, you yourself become my priest. Best of the sages. You please, I want to do it. And you please perform the sacrifice in the holy place of Kurukshetra, Dharmakshetra. And we see how Vasudeva came to the pavilion after taking bath. How to do the yajna is given here. Those who are interested can try to see how can you do it. Putting the fine cloths, garland made of lotuses with royal queens, anointed with sandalwood paste, auspicious items for worship, and mridangas, patahas, conch shell, auspicious sounds are made. Dancing is done, and the Vedic mantras are recited. Gandharvas and Gandharvis, they were singing in sweet voice. Everything is very auspicious. And Vasudeva's eyes anointed with cosmetic black, smeared with fresh butter. And he was initiated to do the sacrifice by means of rules and sprinkling with auspicious water with his 18 wives. 18 wives encircled Vasudeva. Devaki was actually the principal wife. And she had 6 sisters. Shantideva, Upadeva, Srideva, Deva Rakshita, Sahadeva, Devaki and Dhritadeva. Dhritadeva was the eldest. In the family she was not the eldest, but she is the principal queen because she was married first. The king marries first, she becomes the principal queen. So he married other 6 sisters later. So even though she is not the eldest in the family, she is the principal queen. And other queens were also mentioned, Pauravi, Rohini, Bhadra, Mandira, Rochana, Hila. So all these queens, they were also present. Especially the principal queen has to be there. So the sacrifice, the Yajaman, husband and wife, both have to be doing the yajna together. We are talking in terms of within the Varnashrama system. If the principal queen, principal wife is not there, then it may land up in little bit problem also. Lord Brahma in Pushkar, he was wanting to do the yajna. He called Saraswati. Saraswati is the principal queen. And she was not on time. She was not coming. He said he has to finish the yajna, right? So he made Gayatri is another wife. Wife ka saath karna hai na, Gayatri karke kar de. And Saraswati came. She was very upset. Now, even if you have another wife doesn't mean that principal wife can be left. And she became very upset. The story goes saying that because of which she cursed Lord Brahma not to have temples. We don't have much temples of Brahma. In Pushkar it is there, other places not there. Principal wife, principal queen has to be there. So here we see with Devaki and other queens, Vasudev was performing this yajna under the guidance of the sages assembled there. We'll stop here. Questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can you elaborate on this, that how a material activity leads to bondage? Can you explain it elaborately?
You know the Newton's law, third law? You know?
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
So every action not necessarily equal. It will be more also sometimes. So every action has a reaction. So suppose you perform an activity. You have to, want to get some fruit to eat. So you go to the market and on the way to the market, you may be stamping on some ant also. And then you go and want to bargain with the merchant. And in the process of bargaining, you reduce the price and make him unhappy. 10 rupees ka maal ka very intelligently you bargained for 9 rupees. He'll be very happy, right? I got a good deal today. And he is in loss. It's a karma. You have to pay back afterwards. And suppose, for example, you borrow some money from a person and intelligently you cheat him. Kaisa bhi unka ullu bana diya. You may be happy now. But everything, you became a debtor. You must have, you'll be very happy now, but then you become a debtor, you'll have to pay back to them in the next life or this life later also. So, any activity that we are doing, somebody or the other is affected and that affected party creates a reaction for us. Other karma. For that you will have to solve. Suppose you borrowed 10 rupees, you have not paid him. And he forgot, for example. Even if he forgets also, you have to, if you are not going to pay him back, you will have to take another lifetime to actually pay back that. Do you want to take more lifetimes? It is said that, very interestingly, suppose somebody does a criminal act and he escapes the law. Suppose, for example, somebody murdered. Nobody saw. And even somebody implicates him. He comes to the court of law. Court of law, it is not proven. Because he is not proven, he is acquitted. I am free. You may be free from the eyes of mortals. You are not free from the eyes of God. And for this crime, you have to suffer. The Naradeva, the king's job is to give punishment to you so that you suffer now only, so that you don't have to take another lifetime to neutralize this karma. But if you are not able to neutralize that, either somebody imposing the punishment on you, or you self-impose yourself punishment, prayaschitta. I did a mistake, I should undergo suffering. Prayaschitta hota hai. Ye dono nahi hua hai, then invariably you will have to suffer in the next lifetime for this karma. That is why sometimes we may be undergoing suffering in this lifetime because of the karma that we have committed in the previous lifetimes. So this cycle of karma going on and on and on, only a Krishna conscious person can stop it by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sarva. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo. Anything that you have done in the previous life also, don't worry. So it is only by devotional service it can be rectified. No other way. Even within Varnashrama system, nothing can be done. You'll have to go on in different lifetime to keep on neutralizing what you have done previously. By doing that, you are creating new karma. So every activity creates some kind of karma to us. Good activity, charity somebody is giving, it is creating punya. That is also a karma. Whether positive or negative. Whether golden shackle or iron shackle, shackle is a shackle. So in that way, any activity that we do, any activity that is on the bodily platform of life, keeps creating some kind of karma or the other. So those people who want to put a full stop to all this chain of karma's reaction, then they take to the process of Krishna consciousness so that, no, I don't want any more karma. I want to go back home, back to God. If you want to go back home, back to God, you'll have to put a full stop. There is no other way. You can't say that, ये सब बहुत कुछ करेंगे बाद में हम चला जाएंगे. कहाँ जाएगा तुम? कहाँ जाएगा? इधर ही रहेगा, किधर नहीं जा सकता है. So if one's aim is to go back home, back to Godhead, he has to seriously think how to stop this cycle of karma. And the actions and reaction, action, reaction. So much, unlimited. Only one solution, taking the process of Krishna consciousness. Chanting the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Anything that is being spoken in the class, only related to that. Yes.
हरे कृष्ण. प्रभु आप क्लास में वर्णाश्रम के बारे में बात की है, उसके के बारे में कमेंट दूंगा. जो व्यक्ति आजन्म ब्रह्मचारी नहीं रह सकते हैं 100 वर्ष तक, वो माता पिता और गुरुजनों को अनुमति लेकर विवाह करते हैं.
अनुमति लेकर?
माता पिता और गुरुजनों के अनुमति लेकर, विद द परमिशन ऑफ. हाँ. और इसके बाद अगर उनके पत्नी कृष्ण भक्त है, उनको बताती है कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु ना बोले हैं संन्यास लेने के लिए, इसलिए आप संन्यास लेने की आवश्यकता है ही नहीं. तो कोई भी वर्णाश्रम धर्म का पालन होता है ही नहीं. खाली ब्रह्मचारी से गृहस्थ ही जाते हैं, आगे बढ़ते ही नहीं कोई भी. हरे कृष्ण.
आगे बढ़ते नहीं, कोई नहीं बढ़ता है.
संन्यास नहीं
कौन सा
लेते.
दुनिया में आप
संन्यास लेते नहीं ना सब लोग.
लेने वाला भी है ना. आज भी एक संन्यास प्रोग्राम है. मीरा रोड में आपको जाने का तो जाइए, मैं उनको बोलता हूँ आपका भी लाइन में लगाने के लिए।
चैतन्य महाप्रभु ना बोल रहे हैं ना,
आपको लाइन में लगना है क्या?
नहीं नहीं
नहीं नहीं, लगा देंगे आपको।
नहीं।
False kind of statements should not be made. You are not able to do, don't do it. Somebody else will do it. You know everybody in the whole world who is going? Everything is possible in the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this movement not only for the people here all over the world. Prithivite Achayati Nagaradi Gram. Every town and village people will chant. Somebody will be qualified. Sometimes we think I am not qualified, nobody is qualified. This is like a cat, closing the eyes and thinking, nobody is looking at me, I am drinking milk, nobody is looking at me. We are not qualified. We should keep working on how we should be qualified. Don't worry about others' qualifications. Somebody may be more qualified than us. Who knows? It is quite possible. The blessings of Srila Prabhupada, blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anybody can be. Unqualified people can be made qualified by the blessings of the Vaishnavas. So, the process of Krishna consciousness will go. People will perform. 10,000 years, don't worry. After that, no problem. We'll see. Until then, if somebody wants to stay here, that is their problem. Somebody doesn't want to stay here. Before 10,000 years, if you want to go, no problem for you. Anything else? Yes, Mike, pass on the mic to the back, that Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you explained that Vasudev has 16 co-wives, but Devaki Rani is not the principal wife.
Who?
Devaki.
Devaki is the principal wife.
Okay. The other one also you explained, na, she is also
The elder one is not the one I said. She is not the eldest in the family.
Okay.
There are 7 sisters, out of which she is not the eldest. But she is married first, that's why she is the principal wife.
Okay.
Principal queen. The first one who gets married, she becomes the principal. The king may get married more later on, but they cannot become principal. Only one who is first married, that is the principal wife.
And in between, Rohini Mata's name also comes.
Yes.
Then Rohini Mata the same.
Yeah, she is also not principal. When only principal means only one can be there, there cannot be 2. The Devaki is the principal wife of Vasudeva. All others are co-wives. Rohini is considered co-wife.
The Rohini Mata is not the same as Nanda Baba's wife, no?
She stayed in Gokul, but she is not wife of Nanda Baba. She is wife of Vasudeva.
Okay.
The Balaram is born,
Yeah.
So it is Balaram is whose son? It is Vasudeva's son only, no? Maybe you should go back to the Bhagavatam and read a little bit more.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Here, mic here.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you mentioned that till a person who is practicing Krishna consciousness has not reached 100% level of surrenderness, he has got duties towards everyone, like you mentioned. So I just wanted to ask, what is the role of demigods in the life of a practicing Krishna conscious devotee who has not yet reached that stage of 100% surrenderness?
It is not necessarily that you have to leave the demigods only when you are 100% surrendered. Even when you are in the process of surrender to Krishna, to take to the process of surrendering to Krishna, if you are not worshipping the demigods, demigods will not be unhappy because you are on the right path. Suppose you want to go to your destination, you are in the right path, will be appreciated, So if you are, suppose for example, let us put it simply, you are worshipping a demigod, X, some demigod, and you come to know about Krishna consciousness, and you want to chant Hare Krishna, and then you stopped going to the temple of the demigod. The question is whether demigod will be unhappy or happy. Yeah? What? Demigod will be... you are not 100%... ये तो पहला दिन पहला माला कर रहा है. First day itself he will become 100% surrender. कहाँ से आने वाला है? But then, you can't make a mockery of, इधर भी एक पैर, उधर भी एक पैर रखेगा तो your progress will be not at all possible. But then you stop going to demigod temple, then come to Hare Krishna temple and chant Hare Krishna seriously, but you have got all kinds of contamination within your heart. Still, demigod will not be unhappy. ये राइट जगह पर तो पहुंच गया, ठीक है, जाने दो. He will not say that मेरा पास नहीं आता है, मेरे को नारियल नहीं फोड़ता है. वो नहीं, he is not going to complain about it. He has got lot of customers for that purpose. एक जन जाने से उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. So, even in the beginning stages of Krishna consciousness, if one is, because for him to seriously and sincerely try, he has to be single-mindedly doing it, He can't be just wavering. Ekeka kuru nandana. Single-mindedly he will have to put the effort so that the process will become more and more fruitful. Then what does that mean? Demigod सामने आएगा तो ऐसा करेगा? नहीं, नमस्कार तो कर सकता है. You can take आशीर्वाद, you can take blessings. And you can even tell him, I am now going to Krishna's temple. Please bless me so that, I will, be sincerely doing service to Krishna. He will bless you. How do I know? I am guaranteeing you. Shastra is guaranteeing you. You don't have to be worried about whether demigod will be displeased with you or not. No. But you don't go to Krishna temple also, don't go to his temple also. If you go to cinema theater, he will be displeased. So you decide where to go. Whether to go to cinema theater, or go to demigod temple, or go to Hare Krishna temple. The choice is yours. You are already here. Don't look back. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, शील प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे.